One way to identify if a gospel teaching is unlikely to come from the historical Jesus is to spot anachronisms, passages that don't fit the time of Jesus. Some Jesus sayings clearly came from later generations. Consider Mark chapter 7, verse 19. Thus he declared all food clean. By putting these words on the lips of Jesus, Mark's community around 70 AD hoped to eliminate an issue that caused friction. If Jesus really said it, a dispute over food would not have arisen in the first place. By insisting to Gentile converts that all foods are clean, Paul encountered resistance from church leaders. This was part of a bigger dispute raged over whether Gentiles must convert to Judaism. Must male Gentile converts undergo circumcision? Were all Jewish dietary laws to be followed? But Jesus addressed the food issue, or so says Mark. In Antioch, Peter and Paul famously disagreed, Peter eventually taking the traditional side that some foods are unclean. Paul's letter to the Galatians, written around 50 AD, recalls Peter backing down from his previous table fellowship with Gentiles. At first, Peter joined Gentiles for meals, as did Paul. But after men arrived from Jerusalem, Peter was influenced to stop doing this, going from a liberal position to a reactionary one. This infuriated Paul. Eventually, the head of the church ruled on the issue. The Edict of Tolerance, issued by James at the so-called Jerusalem Council around 50 AD, allowed Gentiles into the church without subjecting them to the whole Mosaic law. If the historical Jesus around 30 AD had declared all foods to be clean, Peter would have known that teaching. Paul would not have had to fight Peter on the issue of food.